Well, hey, welcome to DECENTRAFIVE. I'm Jason Dukes. This is the show where we try to take 5 minutes to ask 10 questions and no edits. And our special guest today is Rizzle. And Rizzle, thank you so much, man, not only for being a friend, but for being on the show.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me. Of course, dude. Happy to be here.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's jump in. So number one, origin story of your love for red peppers, firetruck hats, and googly eyes.
Let's see. I love spicy food. Googly eyes. Googly eyes is actually like a thing that I've always loved, but was sort of like a joke that started on like the OG Cent platform back in like 2018, I want to say, amongst like the early NFT community that was coming up around there. And I started like sticking googly eyes and taking pictures of them and posting them just to mess around. And then actually some of them got remixed. There's like, I actually have a collab with Mighty Moose out there, a googly eyed collab on Known Origin, where he remixed some of my googly eyed photos. Fire hat and the beard came from my OG Avastar, given to me by Jim when I joined NFT at 42 and co-founded that company with him. So it's sort of like a hodgepodge of like different things. I also got the hot pepper with like the hot takes type of thing that sort of, I don't know, came into play somewhere along the line. So a combination of strange Rizzle traits has emerged over time.
I love it. I love it. And if you're watching this episode on YouTube, you'll see an example of what I'm talking about right there on the screen. So I love it. I love it. So second question, 5 words to describe the pre-Rizzle, pre-NFT days.
5 words. Oh man. A lot more stressful.
And it can be less than 5. That's right. That's right. That's right. So I mean, what did you do? What did you do before you became the Rizzle of NFTs? Who, again, people who are brand new to the space need to honor the people who pioneered, and you are one of those. So pre that, right? Like, what let people know who this is.
I spent almost 20 years working in nonprofits, mostly for family and child welfare. I have a master's degree that I don't use anymore. I actually got like somewhat discouraged with the whole bureaucracy of nonprofits and felt like I could make more of an impact on the world if I were to take my passion for crypto and NFTs and sort of use that as a way to, bring this cool stuff to people who would not otherwise have it. So that's sort of like one of my main like mantras and ethos personally, that I sort of carried into the space. So yeah, I've been doing this since full-time since about 2019. And it's freed me up, man. I feel like, I'm able to support myself, but also be myself and sort of, help people in arguably a greater way than I was able to when I was trying to go the conventional route.
I love it. I love it. So you co-founded NFT 42. So please flex for a minute, even though I know you don't like to, but please flex for a minute and explain how OG that really was.
Yeah, dude. I mean, give credit where credit due. Avastars was really the start of it all, and that was Jim's brainchild. And it's OG, man. Like it brought to light a lot of questions and conversations that no one was having in the very early days when NFTs were like just getting started about like, the integrity of the smart contracts and the development behind them and everything. And NFT 42 was really like one of the big first I don't want to say like conglomerate gatherings of people, groups of people who were like really pushing that narrative. Started the On-Chain Gang, which is sort of, funny and goofy, but also serious in a way of like, the integrity of the where the NFT is stored and everything. So, and then NFT 42 started a whole bunch of other things that are like super OG in the space. Token Smart, Nameless, the Metalympics was like a huge event going through there.
Yep.
A bunch of big OGs in the space, you know, came through. NFT 42, Nate Alex, Trizlet, Sandy Meows, Quigbell. I mean, it just goes on, and it's cool that it started with me pestering Jim. Really, I was like, dude, you need to hire me, and we should do this together. And somehow
I love it.
Yep.
I love it, man. So now one of the things you get to do also is you get to lead the Matt and Riz show with Nifty Time or Matt, you know, Matthew, Matt, whichever one he wants to go by, depending upon the day, right? Yep. But what are three memorable guests, or are three memorable guests that you and Nifty Time have had on the Matt and Riz show podcast?
Let's see. Snowfro from Art Blocks, I gotta say, was awesome because we had him on like so early on in the art block in Art Blocks, like long before it was ever really a thing at all. And so that he always comes up as one of these guests that like was just, you know, on our show like so early on, and we've had like a lot of people like that sort of come across our show that we had like really early on. Dude, some of my favorite episodes have honestly been our most recent ones. We had Crypto Natrix on recently, who's a dominatrix and sex worker who's also in the Web3 industry, and hearing her like perspective on just crypto in general was like really interesting. We also had another OG artist on recently, Jelly. And she was really awesome to talk to. I don't know, man, I really enjoy recording 95% of the episodes that we record on the Matt and Rizzle show. Every now and again, someone like slips through the cracks that's like, you know, trying to shill some like project, and sometimes Matt and I are like DMing each other on the side, like, how did this person come through or whatever, and sort of, you know, we let the audience decide for themselves. But they're all pretty cool people like you, man, using this as an excuse to just talk to cool people that we want to interview, you know.
I love it. So, you know, because you are so great at satiring this on the Twitter feeds, but a lot of Web2 money and a lot of corporate money coming into the space. And many of them even go after influencers, people who are RGs, people who have clout and respect in the space. So without saying who it was, what's a DM or an email or a call that you got that made you roll your eyes more than others?
Oh my God, dude, I get so many per day that I like, I'm not even trying to flex, that I feel bad for the ones that are genuine. I was actually getting so frustrated that I was just ignoring them because there's just so many, like, you know, I guess people have this assumption that I'm like a marketer or like a promo guy because I just get so many DMs that are like, tell me your rates. What are your promo rates? Like, how much do I pay for a tweet? And it's eye rolling, but also like makes you think like, how much are these people making who are like taking these people up on these offers? And like, are these like, what percentage of these are scams? And like, you know, for a long time, I stopped interacting with them at all. Now I try and send them at least like a, hey, like, sorry, not my thing, to some of them. Some of them are obviously, or like seem obviously like bots, or they just like copy paste this to like everything and everyone. But dude, I would say every single day I roll my eyes at my DMs.
I love it. The Whip meetup, which I've had the privilege of getting to be on a few times. It happens every Thursday afternoon on Crypto Voxels. What is it that jazzes you so much about it? I mean, it's a really cool space for people who haven't experienced it, but what jazzes you about it?
Dude, I love that Matt and I have been doing this for 2 years for like no reason at all. Like, other than, you know, we're not getting paid. We don't take a cut. Every now and again, we get some sponsorship money. We like pass it on to the people who help us out, and, you know, it goes to some like, you know, minor operating costs or whatever. But It's really just for fun, man, and I think that's what a lot of people love about it. And I mean, it's for fun, but it's also for our audience. But our audience likes to have fun, and I
Yep.
think it being about that like has given us a lot of creative liberties to just really like do whatever we want with it, and so it's fun, man. It's had like shades of like getting more serious at times, in a good way, but Matt and I have like been very careful to retain like all creative liberty over it, and we've had some offers to get like funding or bought out or whatever, or turn it into some marketing arm for someone else, but neither of us really want to. We just want to keep doing the whip because the whip is fun. So yeah, man, awesome to have you be a part of it.
I love it. Well, as Lord of the Pond of the Fly Frogs project, proclaim and declare hereunto and forevermore why people need to pause this episode right now and go grab a Fly Frogs NFT.
I mean, like you said, man, if you're watching on YouTube, just look at how cool the googly eyes are on my avatar that I'm currently using. Dude, I can give you a lot of reasons. I wasn't originally on the project from the beginning. I became like a super fan of theirs, and similar to the gym thing, convinced them to take me on board because I just love them. Josh, the artist, it's a husband and wife team. Josh is the artist. He's a toy designer. If you know anything about like Barbie camper vans or like Paw Patrol vehicles, like these things are all like actually extremely complicated and like transformers and do all these cool things. And he like invented a lot of the last iterations of all these things, amongst a lot of other stuff. So this is his first NFT project. His wife is a developer, and I love her because she wants to do weird things with blockchain, and I don't want to do boring things with blockchain. So, once they brought me in, we like concocted this plan along with a buddy of mine, Chupacabra, to like make these flies on Polygon that you can feed to the frogs, and it costs almost nothing. And then you can breed a tadpole, but you could also potentially get tadpole twins, and they have recessive traits. And even though the flies are on Polygon, the tadpoles are on mainnet. So if you like googly eyes and weirdness and technological innovation, the fly frogs are cool.
They are, man. And they really did. They bridged, you talk about interoperability, which we talked about, and I know you're passionate about. I mean, how those were so innovative, and it really is worth checking out. So who else do you have mad respect for that even comes close to the satire and meme game that you display in the Twitterverse?
Oh, dude. That's a good question, man. I feel like I'm sort of like on my own island out here, like doing. I don't really model my like take after anybody else. There's a lot of people. Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what, man. I love Stella Bell. Has become a friend of mine in the past several months, and I love Stella Bell's fearlessness to say pretty much whatever she has on her mind. So I think if there's anyone who I feel is like a kindred spirit in the sense that is sort of, just sort of out there running their mouths, I feel like Stella Bell is probably the one.
I love it. I love it. What is the on-chain chain that you're building with Miguel Garest and Cheater Flumes? Did I say Cheater Flumes right? Did I say that right?
I think he goes by Sebi, but yes, that's his Discord handle as well. Cheater Flumes.
Okay, got it. So what is that? Because you've told me about it briefly, and I want people to know about it. Like, it's super cool. Give a brief description of what people can expect from this project that you've been working on.
Again, along the theme of technological innovation and weirdness, on-chain chain is a metaverse wearable. I wanted to make one wearable that you can use across multiple virtual worlds. So out of the box, it'll work with a bunch of them. We're going to add more capabilities as the audience needs them or wants them, or more platforms emerge. But on-chain chain is one NFT. It's a big Flava Flav style chain that is hosted entirely on-chain on the Ethereum blockchain. And it's a wearable. So, and it'll be randomly generated. So there'll be 2,000 randomly generated on-chain chains. And it'll be an incredible metaverse flex by anyone who owns one. because it'll show how much they believe in on-chain metadata, I guess. But also interoperability, and interoperability is cool because you'll be able to have this one thing across different places. So, you know, I think people want one NFT they can use everywhere, but it's also cool from like an identity standpoint because people, even if, you know, you just have the on-chain chain, people will recognize you from like one place to the next. It'll stay consistent and look consistent, you know, from one world to another. So, so that's the on-chain chain, man. Sort of an experimental concept, but I'm very excited about it, and it was something that I really wanted. So we'll see if other people do too.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm with you. I want one too. It's great stuff. So last question, and then I do have a bonus question. But the 10th question: you always seem to be ahead of the game. Crypto, NFTs, crypto voxels, calling out the celebrities who everyone got excited about showing up, and even calling the emergence of Tezos as a major NFT player. What do people need to be paying attention to that's next?
Me. The on-chain chain.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Honestly, I do hope that this spurs, like, I mean, the reason I'm building it is because I wanted the conversation to shift in that direction. I think Metaverse is going to become more of a thing. I think people want interoperability, and I think how NFTs are built will matter more and more. We've seen like a lot of competitive blockchains and projects come up that sort of do things sloppily, and we've seen the repercussions of that. So again, not that like putting every single thing on chain is the only way forward, but I'm hoping that that starts to be more of a focus of attention. And metaverse fashion, like that's the other like kernel in the on-chain chain, is it's like a really cool bit of generative metaverse fashion, which hasn't really been, you know, highlighted too much, especially the generative part. So I think we'll see more of a lot of these things if I keep my thing up about being a little bit ahead of the curve here.
I love it. I love it. So the bonus question is, who else do we need to have on DECENTRAFIVE?
Who else do you need to have on DECENTRAFIVE? Dude, you're friends with a lot of my friends, so I bet you have like a lot of the people who I would highly recommend already in mind. You could throw Stella Bell into the equation. She's a favorite of mine. If you don't, since I already mentioned her, I think you already had Matt on. You mentioned before. Let's see, Nicole. I know you've done some stuff with her. She's just like so amazing and does so many incredible things within the space. Let's see, dude. I don't know. I was just actually going through this. I was trying to get Lulu XXX on the podcast. She doesn't do podcasts. I was like trying to negotiate with her. She wasn't feeling it. Not because of me personally, but it's an English speaking thing. So shout out to Lulu XXX. I don't know, dude. I like you, man. I'm always trying to like uncover people who are like doing interesting things that may not necessarily be on everyone's radar. So you got a pretty good finger on the pulse, man. I trust your judgment.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you for that. That means a lot coming from you. I trust your judgment, trust your finger on the pulse of it. And you've always been an encourager, and I challenge anyone out there to find somebody who believes in the space more and believes in the people of the space more than you do. It means a lot.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.